Hey, this is Bill Seaver with Micro Explosion Media. Thanks for joining us today. Today I am with Kevin Thompson. Kevin is a lawyer here in the Nashville area, and he is one of the rare guys that I have met who actually knows social media and knows the law. Well, first, I think really the first question is with social media. I feel like their questions seem to come from two areas, both for me and for people I talk to. One is, what would get me in trouble with what I say in the social media space? Meaning, are there things I can do with social media tools like Twitter, Facebook, that I could perhaps say about another individual or another company that would get me in legal trouble?
That's a good question, and everybody has the same question. It's a very challenging time that we're in because there's a great restructuring in the law. The standards, the legal standards that have been produced were written in an era where there were very few publishers of content. The only publishers of content, they had resources, they had education as far as what the laws were, what they could and could not say. Now, we're all marketers, we're all publishers of content, so it really blurs the law as far as how far can people go to challenge a company. And the real sticky issue is the law hasn't changed. What needs to happen is all of us that publish content, we push out tweets, we push out content on Facebook, we have blogs. We need to know the standards because those standards have not changed. So to answer your question, how far can somebody go? There's certain issues such as defamation, libel, and the standards that the New York Times are held to are the same standards that apply to individuals that blog. You need to refrain from publishing untrue statements. That's pretty obvious.
Now is opinion considered, like, so where does, if I say the food at that restaurant is terrible?
Opinion is protected speech. That's a very good question.
Okay.
There are certain defenses. The truth is an obvious defense, and statements of opinion. But however, when it comes to opinion, you have to be very careful. It has to be a reasonable belief, and it has to be plausible, right? You can't say, in my opinion, Lindsay Lohan has gained 200 pounds over the past month, right?
When you could clearly look at a photo and it's not the case.
When clearly that's not a reasonable belief.
Okay.
So you can't, that's not a way to protect your speech. And so one way to protect yourself is to always cite the source and make sure your opinion is rational.
Okay, so if that's sort of what could get me in trouble for what I may say in the social space, what about, it seems like the other side of the coin is, people ask, what can I use regarding other people's content?
What you're talking about is copyright infringement, and most people don't know this, but you own a copyright the moment you publish or express an idea. You've got a copyright. Now, if you register that copyright, you get some additional legal protections. But the moment you create something, you own the rights to that. And so if someone uses your content or you use somebody else's content, the question that Bill has is, how do you handle that? The safest thing to do is to go ahead and reference that content, but make sure you give the proper attribution. You cite the source, you provide the links to that copyright, and that way, the first step to a copyright infringement action is usually a cease and desist letter. When you get a letter, you can say, look, I cited the source, I gave you the link. If you want it gone, err on the side of caution, pull it down.
In the social media space, if I do want to pursue something legally, is it just a standard procedure of going through the courts and the lawsuit process, or is social media just in this weird place right now?
We're definitely in a weird place, and I would actually advise against litigation in most cases because the cost-benefit analysis, it just doesn't make sense. Most attorneys aren't going to take a case unless the damages are very significant, and we're talking millions of dollars of damage to somebody's reputation. Yeah. It's hard to prove damage to someone's reputation. There's experts that can go there. They're expensive. So if someone is disparaging you personally, you just have to rely on the marketplace of ideas. Let the First Amendment work itself out. Call upon your friends and your community to back you up. And it's
which is, if you're doing social media well, and you've you've built relationships. You're gonna get that.
You're gonna take
anyway,
some shots.
So really, you're gonna get the shots, but you're gonna have the friends to get your back as well. But you're doing some very interesting stuff with your own practice and how you're using social media to promote what you're doing. So tell everybody a little bit about what you do and really kind of what you're in the thick of right now.
Sure. I'm in a very good niche with network marketing. I work with startup network marketing companies, and I sue bad network marketing companies. So I'm on both sides of this deal. There's good companies and there's bad companies, and when there's a bad company, a lot of consumers get harmed, and so I represent those consumers. And I've recently sued a company called eFusion in a class action lawsuit. The challenge with class action lawsuits is, how do you reach out to the community and aggregate the information? How do you organize the class to work together to get the information? And so it dawned on me to leverage social media channels to provide an outlet, to provide, number one, a resource to inform the public, but more importantly, to request information from the public. Hey, how have you been harmed? We want to hear from you. And that way we can compile all the evidence that we need and present it to the court and show the court, yes, there's a pattern of conduct that's consistent with what we've alleged in the lawsuit. It's been absolutely amazing to see the kind of support that we've received just by putting it up on the website.
So I love the fact that you are a lawyer and you're leveraging social media. In fact, I saw you published an open letter today on the site, and it doesn't even sound like a lawyer is even talking. And I think that's where, earlier before we started recording, you and I were talking about just the level of transparency and that social media is changing the way companies do business, the way they have to communicate with each other, and it's really opened things up for business as a whole. And it's going to be interesting to see how that affects the law and where the law rubs up against all of that. So I think it's great what you're doing.
I appreciate that. The law is definitely at a crossroads right now, and it's hard to predict where it's going to go. The FTC has recently published some guidelines as far as how people can endorse products and market products, and they're getting more aggressive as far as going after bloggers. We don't know what they're going to do. They're an agency with limited means, but yes, we are at a crossroads. And as far as the attorneys not liking transparency, that is absolutely true. It's always safe to say nothing, but in today's economy, saying nothing, you have to be part of the conversation. And if your brand doesn't survive muster, you don't deserve to be in business. And I have a different perspective when it comes to social media because I'm not an in-house counsel. I don't work at a firm. I don't make a living by playing it safe. I have to market myself. I leverage these tools to market myself, and I understand the importance of reaching out to the community, to talking with the community, to generate business. And so with that experience that I've got with my own practice, it just makes sense to do the same thing in a lawsuit. So I think the rules have changed dramatically. I think more and more attorneys, lawyers, we're slow, but we're not stupid. And at some point, lawyers are going to catch on to this trend, learn how to leverage these tools to help them solicit information from the public and to help them with litigation.
Well, tell everybody how they can find out more about you and what you're doing.
Absolutely. Go to my website, theadvocategroup.net. That's 3 words, theadvocategroup.net. I work with startup network marketing companies, but I also do some transactional work for startup companies in general. And I also sue bad guys. So I'd love to hear from you. Send me an email.
You sue bad guys.
Absolutely. The contact information is on the website.
Do you own isuebadguys.com?
I'm going to get the domain
today. You will now. By the time this video goes live, you will own isuebadguys.com.
I will. Bill, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm a big fan of what you do and what you stand for. I think this industry is exploding. I think everybody needs to understand how to leverage these tools to promote their brands, to get their message out. And hiring a firm like what Bill runs is definitely a wise investment. And it's an honor.
Thanks, I appreciate that. And you can find out more about me at microexplosion.com, and I'm twitter.com/Bill Seaver, Bill Seaver, and you're at Kevin_Thompson.
That's correct.
On Twitter as well. So thanks for joining us.